Well, in the case of crime and violence, but you read Revelation, which is talks about the judgment to come.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that is definitely, we can see the signs at the times that judgment is coming. But we also know that we, the people, have a part to play in the redemption of the people. Mm-hmm. So that's why we do our kind of music. I think the government have to implement measures that can make the youth them benefit and prosper.
This little country that I once called paradise are now infested with crime, violence, crime ministers, crime fighters, politicians, masked murderers, liars, thieves. Several entities put in place to fight crime. Police, soldiers, security guards, vloggers, bloggers. And I could go on with crime fighting entities and strategies. But to date, crime is still on the rise. Vlog all they want, talk all they want. People will remain in confusion, illusion, as they await the results from the crime fighters. But there is something that we need to acknowledge, but we keep bypassing. But until we acknowledge, we never appreciate our crime fighters, being that the peace seems stagnant and war continues. A lot of things we ignore while fighting crime. Most of the time I get panic when you hear the big guns them back and people are dead violently by the hands of murderers. So we target the man with the big gun, the wanted man them, era leaders and done. But as a done get cut down, another one come up, and as a era leader get cut down, one more come up. That means we are not on the right track. When we allow insects to become predator, we are in trouble. Because when they are insects, we can use beer gun to spray them. But when insects turn to predator, we can hardly find pesticides because they are too powerful to spray with beer gun or even just step on them. And if you look at yesterday's Jamaica comparing to today's Jamaica, you will see the difference between yesterday's crime comparing to today's crime. The difference in how people used to live comparing to today's. The people bonded differently yesterday comparing to today. Why is this so? Today's youths, or I should say people, are more fearless and they careless. Yesterday the people of the country pray more. We were more of a praying country, a God-fearing country, a community that grow their children and respect. The type of crimes that is committed today would never happen in yesterday. At least it was more impossible. I remember growing up, a man would never break into a church. If a man chasing his worst enemy, to shoot him or kill him, as long as he reach into the area where a church is, in front of the church and the church compound, more so into the church, I'm 100% sure that in Gateway, a man would never shoot a man in church, stab a man in church, beat up a man in church, or even on the church compound, or even in front of a church, because they respect the ground. And if that should ever happen, it will be something to talk about for years. A man fight a man on the church compound. That's a long-lasting topic. In yesterday, for a man to be beheaded, that was something that would watch only on television. For a woman to be murdered intentionally, that was never a common practice. And if that do happen, it's a topic that people talk about for years. In yesterday's Jamaica, when someone dies, it's not just a 9-day talk, especially if the person was killed or murdered violently. People never get used to these killings because it's unusual, and they will talk about this type of behavior or action in a man stabbing someone, shooting someone, physically harm someone, especially if the person died. People would talk about this for months and years. To date, don't care how gruesome the killing is, 9-day talk, because it's common assault. Crime is so common today, so people could be killed or murdered for little and no reasons. Crime is used for investment. It is the politician's greatest tools. So they use this crime and violence to scare the people. So whichever minister can control the crime, it could be a method to help them to win. So they hold on to the crime control volume button and know how much to turn it up or turn it down, especially when it's close to an election. And in our little country, Jamaica, we all knew the saying, crime pays. But as the crime continues, a lot of our citizens remain in illusion, confusion, as they wait on their politician, holding them to their words that they have the method to reduce crime and violence, and they remain loyal to the party that they were brought up in and call themselves the and their neighbor stronghold community. Then you have people creating different little platforms and community development programs, promising people that they could get Jamaica back to where it used to be. It is good to try and assist in the battle against crime. And I continue to listen to their peace talk and their peace strategies. Going after Dans and your leaders. Searching for the big guns. But for the entities and the people who promise the citizens of Jamaica to take back the country from the criminals, the crimes, and rid the country of crime. It's like telling the prophets of the Bible that they are liars and telling us to ignore revelations. If you should read what the Bible said in times like these, and if you should read what the prophet says, if we should read the book of Revelation, then you would understand what is going on, what is happening, and not just in Jamaica, but on earth. So we are here doing our part when it comes to crime fighting, but when the result is not what was promised by man, then we the citizen would know to accept it. And not all the while, our leaders are not trying. It's not all the while, the crime fighters are not genuine in what they does. But what was predicted by the Bible still stands. And if you read the Bible, one of our favorite books, it speaks a lot about enemies, a lot about war, a lot about our prophets leading the people. When Moses parted the Red Sea, what you think upon? And when they ran across him and his people, they got on the other side, and then the sea closed up back. And you know what happened there? Yes, we know what God said about this time, the time that we are living in. So I listen to the ministers with their peace talk into the house as the people cheer on when they speak of their strategies. But Parliament, your peace talk is like a two-side battle. If you listen to them like when young fowls start to cattle, because they'll cock it at the bung, but it will leaks at the cock. And if you cock it at the cock, it will turn right back. You and your peace talk. In a time like this, where the war is hot, crime and violence has raised its ugly head, I create peace. I create peace within my home, with my kids, my family. I create a peaceful ambience that when I step inside my house and close my door, I could feel that sense of peace. We don't play a certain song in the house. We don't answer to certain calls. We don't respond to certain text because certain music carries certain spirit. Certain shows that you watch carry certain spirit. So to create a peaceful environment within your home, you have to be careful what you watch, what you listen to. Be careful how you interact with your family. Make sure you pray. Pray together. Because a family that prays together stays together. A community that prays together stays together. And a country that prays together stays together. So the combating of crime and violence usually starts at home. You can't ignore your family, ignore your children, ignore their thinking when they bring it out. They must be corrected. You must never save the rod, spoil the child, because later on it may come back to haunt you. So I urge my friend, stop looking for peace in the street. Make peace in your home.